Okay, so welcome everyone once again to the Women in Automation program. Maybe most of you have already been here for the opening panel, which was an extraordinary experience. Tell us in the chat if you attended the opening panel, because we're really curious about your feedback on that. For us, it was truly a very exciting experience to hear all those stories from such experienced leaders in automation, and to hear also the reactions we had in chat, because many of you identified in those stories and really took their advice to heart. Okay, please, Emilia, mute, or who is unmuted? Now we are here to start officially the training threads of the Women in Automation program. So just to present for you guys again what this program is about, and I will also share the link in chat very soon to the program. This is a very complex program. It's the first time we designed it this way. It has inspirational stories, mentorship sessions, a lot, 16 mentorship sessions, and also this very important core training component. The training component is split in two threads. One is meant for training citizen developers and the StudioX as software product. And the second thread is for RPA developers and to be trained in Studio, in UiPath Studio. To follow up on these training threads, you will also have this week on Friday an office hours, also an office hours with MVPs to help you with troubleshooting and any questions you might have. And in follow-up, you will have this academy training assignment, which is 4 courses for the StudioX. Very easy. It doesn't take longer than 4 hours, something like that, the academy assignment. So you should complete this in order to get the end program credential. What is this UiPath credential that you will obtain at the end of the program? It's something better than diploma. It also comes in a form of diploma, but it's basically a digital credential that you will attach to your LinkedIn profile. So it's something very special done by UiPath for this program. Today, we are starting the training component of the program with StudioX threads, RPA citizen developer thread. And this is the very first session. So for us, it's a kickoff of the entire training module in the program. And we are starting today this with our MVPs, Divya and Nidhi. And now I will let Nidhi continue and start the session. Just for you to know, the UiPath team will be here in chat. The MVPs will be in chat. We will support you throughout the session. For those of you who do not know us, I'm Christina. I'm the Global Manager for UiPath Community. And also in the call with me is Diana Gray, our Regional Marketing Community Manager for the Americas. So please feel free to reach out to us and ask any questions you feel you need. We'll be there and answer, and also feed you many links with resources. Have a good time and yes, accelerate RPA learning. Nidhi?
Yes, thank you, Christina. And hello, everyone. So it's nice to see all of you joining to learn the RPA from various places. So I'll just give a quick introduction of myself. My name is Nidhi Chaturvedi, and I'm working here as RPA solution expert with a company called Wärtsilä in Finland. And I have Divyashree with me, who will be coordinating together for the training session. And as Christina mentioned, this is the first session of the series for the StudioX. So this is going to be a very beginner series where we'll understand what is RPA and what is UiPath StudioX, who are citizen developers, and how to install the software. So this is just to prepare ourselves for the next sessions. This might be a little repetitive for you if you have attended the first session. So that's okay if you find a little boring in the start. So stay with us. We will install the software so that we can create the automations later in the session. So with that, I'll start presenting my screen. Let me know if the screen would be visible. Okay. Okay, I hope the screen is visible. So yeah, this is the first session of the training series of UiPath StudioX for the Women in Automation series. Let me put it on the slideshow. Yeah, so with a touch of inspiration from women developers, let's start our RPA journey together. So again, as I give a brief introduction about myself and Divyashree, we have host Christina and Dinah with us. And yeah, so let's start the citizen developer chapter with UiPath StudioX. Again, this is session 1. If you have any questions, very basic questions, you can put it in the chat. The team will be able to help you. We also have a Q&A at the end of the session where you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. So please feel free.
Nidhi, just one thing, if I can mention, I will now place in the chat the link for StudioX session 2. Please, all of you who have not registered yet for session 2, do it now. So you do not forget, because you have to attend session 2 as well to have the UiPath credential. So I will give you the link in the chat now for the next week's session. Also StudioX session 2, it's a follow-up, direct follow-up to this session, yes?
Yes, thank you, Christina.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so with that, let's understand what is RPA. RPA may not be something new for most of us, and we might be already familiar with the term RPA because now it's been a boom and we have been working. There have been so many sessions around RPA through UiPath. You have been hearing it in your companies and everywhere. But let's understand a little bit in a detail and from a layman's term, what the RPA stands for, not from a very technical point of view. So if we break down the term RPA, it simply means robotic process automation. So automation, something that you are doing manually, but you want to automatically get it performed by a software is what the automation means. And again, process is something that you are doing on your day-to-day work that includes so many tasks, so that becomes your process. And robot, again, a software robot that helps you to perform those tasks. So that's just the overall of meaning what the RPA is. That is robotic process automation. And if we look at the definition of it, it means that the RPA is the technology that enables a software program to mimic human actions while interacting with computer applications to accomplish required tasks. And some of the human interactions that can be automated are keyboard input, mouse movements and the clicks, and reading from the computer screen. So yeah, the RPA is nothing but a software which is installed on your laptop, which can perform your task, mimicking what you do on your screen. If you're typing something from the keyboard, you are filling up a form, you enter username, password, you click sign in. So you're performing those tasks on your screen. You are doing some keyboard inputs and you're doing some mouse clicks. Also, you might be reading something from the screen and then you are putting it in another application, right? So all these tasks can be easily done by a software program. So RPA is actually a technology that can enable to do such tasks on behalf of you so that you can actually focus on more productive tasks. So that's just the basic of what the RPA means. And why RPA? Let's understand that why do we actually need RPA to be implemented, or why should we learn RPA? So one thing that we have seen is it mimics the human actions. So something that you are doing and that you find very boring and repetitive and that you do not want to do, you can give it to a software robot so that it can do while you can actually focus on something more productive. It is quick to implement and power to scale. So as mentioned, it is a software robot which can be created in a very short span of time, and also it can be easily scaled. So for example, if you have created one RPA for yourself while your other colleagues also perform the same kind of task, so it can be actually easily scaled across the other departments as well. So it's very powerful to scale. And then no mistakes without resting. So there is a possibility that when a human is performing a task, they can make human errors. while there are very less chances that some tasks that are performed by the robots and they are trained to do that, there will be no mistakes because they are trained and they have been rule based. They have been, programmed in such a way so there is no chance that they can create such mistakes. And they work 24/7 without resting. So human would need the rest. They need some time off, while you can run robots 24/7. Then it operates on any application. So yeah, for example, if I have to really elaborate this, when we think of automation, we think that this is not something new. This has been already existing, right? If you look at your Outlook, you schedule your emails, right? You create some rules in your Outlook to be so that something is coming in your inbox. You want to move it to a specific mailbox. You want to schedule to send an email at particular day and time. This is a small part of the automation. You are letting a software program do automatically something that you are supposed to do. Similarly, when you see Excel, you can create macros and then you can perform some tasks quickly, very easily and automatically, right? So, but those are very limited to each application. Macros can only work within the Excel file, and the scheduling the emails can only work within the Outlook. Where RPA, it can interact with any kind of application, be it a web application, be it a desktop application or Citrix applications. So that's why the robotic process automation is what it can operate on any application, and it can automate an end-to-end task. For example, you're reading something from the Outlook, reading emails from the Outlook, downloading those attachments, and then saving those somewhere, then reconciling the Excel files and everything. So it has the power to actually operate with so many applications. And the next is structured reading data and actioning the data. It can easily read and action if the data is structured. So yeah, these are the reasons why we should consider RPA, because it can help you to automate an end-to-end task, which is very quick to implement and powerful to scale. It will not do any mistakes and it can run 24/7. And yeah, there has been some sort of myths also about what RPA is and what RPA is not. So when the RPA term we hear for the first time, we might think those as the hardware robots, but that's not the case. So what RPA is not, it is not a walking and talking robot or humanoid or a warehouse robots or the human replacements as well. So if the robot term the RPA stand for, it can sometimes create a misunderstanding that these are some hardware robots that you see in the warehouses and everything, but they are not. And they're also not the human replacement. So if you think that these robots can also take your job in a way, or they can do everything, they cannot, because we will see in the later slides what can be done by RPA and what cannot be done, what are most suited for the RPA to be automated. So yeah, that's just a few of the myths that we have been hearing about the RPA. So this comes to the next slide, which means what can software robots do, right? So not everything can be done by software robots, but there are some tasks that can be very quickly and easily done by these robots. So here are some of the tasks that can be easily handled over to these robots. There are few listed in the slide, but there are more capabilities. Once you start learning RPA, you can actually explore. It is such a powerful technology. So these are just the basic ones. For example, log into any application. You come to your office, you open certain applications, you put your username, password, credentials, you sign in. For example, you come and do 5 to 6 applications login. So you can easily give this task to an RPA to set up your whole laptop or the workstation. Meanwhile, you do something productive or meet some of your colleagues, right? So yeah, so it can easily log into your application, move files and folders. So if you are working with, say, file management task, you segregate the files, you zip them and send it across, say, to a shared drive or through emails. So all of these files and folders related tasks can also be done by software robots. Scraping data from the web, if you're reading something from a web application, this can be easily done by the RPA as well. Then extract contents from the documents, PDFs, emails, and forms. This is what we actually learned in the last slide, that if something which is in a structured format, and if it is a digital format, for example, some PDFs or the emails or forms, so these data can be easily extracted by the RPA, and then you can further perform some tasks through RPAs on them. Open emails and the attachments. You received an email, you want to read the attachments again, and you want to perform some tasks based on some conditions. This can be easily done, and making the calculations as well. So these are the very basic. So the task you can actually give it to robots. But as I mentioned, that there are more capabilities which you can definitely explore. And yeah, read and write to databases. If you are already familiar with the databases, then you can read the data. You can connect with the various types of databases, read it and manipulate the data, and also write back to those. And yeah, that brings us to the benefits of RPA. The major advantages of RPA adoption by a business, right? So we saw actually what is RPA and why we need it, and what are the myths, and what are the basic tasks that the RPA can easily do. Now let's see in a business, what are the major benefits of the RPA? The first one is the increased execution speed. So for example, if I'm performing a task, say example in 30 minutes, the RPA can easily do it in 10 minutes because it's really fast. It's simulating the actions that you are doing on the screen. It makes quick calculations compared to what a human can do, right? So the increase of the execution speed is more. Enhanced accuracy, which we saw that it will not make errors. There are no chances that the RPA, which is trained or you programmed it to perform some task, and it can create some errors in those, right? But while the human can do. So enhanced accuracy is another major advantage of adopting it in a business. Improved regulatory compliance, because you will be closing your task on time and as per the policies. Uh, so it means you are actually improving the regulatory compliance also in the business. Reduced cost of process execution. Um, this is again something because we are reducing the time taken to perform a task, so which eventually also reduces the cost of that particular process that has been performed. For example, again, if something is performed by 4 people and it cuts down to be same task being done by, say, 4 robots or 2 robots, so it actually reduces that cost of process of execution. So not only in terms of the time, but also the cost, it gives a good saving to the business. And the easier scaling, again, as we mentioned, if we have created an RPA, there is a possibility that you can actually scale it to other departments as well. Plus, you can also enhance it, or you can make additional changes at the later stage, so that it's easier to scale and perform even major and bigger tasks of your departments, not only specific to individual, right? So these are the major benefits of why there has been a major adoption of RPA in the business. And now, as we mentioned that not everything can be automated by RPA, there are certain criterias which we take into consideration before we actually pick any candidate to start automating. So these are the 3 thumb rules or 3 basic rules that you can follow if you want to see whether this is something you want to automate and can be automated. So the first one is that it should be repetitive. You are doing it a number of times. If you are performing something, for example, once in a while, it can be automated, but it is not a best suited for the RPA. You cannot, what do you say? The output result of that automation is not that big compared to what you would have automated, which was repetitive. You have been doing, for example, going daily, performing same kind of task. So make sure that you pick those tasks which are being repetitive. The second one is which is rule based. It is following some sort of rule and a pattern. If there is any intelligent, say intelligence of a human is required, this might not be a best suited one. There should be a proper rule that you do action 1, action 2, action 3. And if this is a condition, then you switch to action 4, otherwise you switch action 5. So if you can create a flow chart in your mind or on a paper, then it can be easily done by the RPA or the software robots as well. But if there are intelligence of a human comes into the picture, it becomes more complex and not the perfect candidate. Then the structured, the data that you are using in your task should be well structured and should follow some format. It should be in digital format, as something very mandatory. Plus, it should be structured. For example, if we talk about the Excel files, they have a proper structure of a column and a row. So if you want to read something from a cell A1, it is row number 0 and column number 0. So it is a proper structure that the particular file is following. So yeah, these are the 3 rules that help us to understand what are the process which are best suited for the RPA. And yeah, that's all from my end, and Divyashree will take care from now onwards.
Thank you, Nidhi. Let me share my
I'll
screen.
stop sharing.
Yeah.
Do we do the first Menti questions now, or we have the placeholder a bit later in the presentation?
Just after this slide, Christina.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So let me know once you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see your
Yes.
screen.
Okay. So hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And thank you so much, Nidhi, to give a detailed explanation about what is an RPA, how can we use and when can we use, what is an RPA, what is not an RPA, and everything has been explained so well. Hopefully, most of you guys do not have any questions with respect to that, but definitely if you guys have any doubts or any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we are here to answer those questions. So just now, Nidhi was explaining about what and all the processes which are really best suit for the automation. She was explaining about how the rule-based or the structured and the repetitive task, which can be automated, and definitely which can use so much of human energy and also the time, so that we can just concentrate about our other works which really do not need our so much of efforts, right? So now we will see what are the business departments which are huge in market, which are using an RPA. And here we have listed couple of them. That is the finance, supply chain, IT, HR, client services, accounting, and operations. I would just go one sample in each sector. So when it comes to the finance, definitely we all using our credits and debits on our daily basis. And definitely the bank has to go ahead and work with respect to the balance sheets. And how are we going to do that? Is our balances matching? Whether the credit and the debit is matching, or is there any variations? And definitely we will be seeing, right, so many times the payments will be failed, but still amount has been debited, which we have to again credit. How are we going to validate? Is that can be automated by using an RPA? Definitely yes. Since all this are the repetitive tasks, where any of the financial departments or any of the financial companies has to do this on the daily basis, which is a repetitive, and for each and every customer. The only difference would be the numbers inside of the balance sheets and the account details. So in those cases, definitely we are going to go ahead and automate those things. And we do have other one like order to cash, record to reports, and process to pay. So all these things, since we will be using so many in the daily basis, and since we do have the all everything to be validated, that we can be automate that. So, okay, you guys might have any questions like, okay, now I have set up a couple of the rules, but what if the rules has been failed, but I want your bot to be notified me if there is anything which is out of their rules which has been mentioned? Is that possible? Definitely yes. It is not always like bot is going to just do the random task and then it is going to finish all the task. No, we do have the different types of robots, that is nothing but the attended and unattended. So if we want to see, okay, I have set up 5 rules and there might be a chances there would be a 6th rule which even I'm not sure about at this point of time when I'm doing the development. But if there is any rule out of this 5 set which I have already defined, then bot has to just notify me and I'll take care from there. So yes, we do have those opportunity by using a RPA processes to be done. And then next comes to the management. So I mean the supply chain. In the supply chain, we have seen demand and supply will be always on the peak when it comes to the couple of the companies, especially when it comes to shipping companies or manufacturing companies, which they are dealing across the world. If those are the cases, we will be having the invoices, we will be having the contracts, so many agreements will be there in the place. Can we just have to, should we always have to sit and validate those invoices, validate those billing payments and also the agreements? Definitely no. We really do not have to sit manually and do all of that. Our RPA processes, especially UiPath, has the capability to read the content from the invoices. That is nothing but, since it is an invoice, it would be a structured data most of the time. As Nidhi was explaining, the structured data will be able to extract. So we do have the capabilities not to only to do some automation, but also to do the data extraction. And then if there is any small normalization in the sense, okay, if the data is in DDMMYYY format, but now I want to convert that into MMDDYY format. So those are the small modification. Can we do that? Yes, definitely do that. So just read all the data from any of the invoices and then modify the data in a specific structured way before we put into any of the third party applications or any of the other stream. We can do that. And also we will be able to go ahead and do those validations. Like let's consider I have like so much of data and I want to validate that whether it was correct, whether it was incorrect. Can we just pass it to the human to the validation? Definitely yes. So this is the ways where we will be able to automate everything in the supply chain, not only with respect to the software click, keyboard type, and the read the screen data, but also from the scanned PDFs and other attachments in an email. Everything can be read and can be automated. And when it comes to the IT, server and the application monitoring, routine maintenance and monitoring. So definitely to do this routine maintenance and the monitoring, we will be just doing every time. We are just going to have a couple of the checks and it would be repetitive on daily basis or on the weekly basis. And if everything looks good, we really do not have to worry about it. And even we really do not need the system engineer to worry if all the clicks and all the steps which they are going to do, that is diagnosed as positive. So in those cases, definitely we will be able to just go ahead and have the automation processes to be done. Christina, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. It was just a small lag.
Okay, sorry about that. So we can just go ahead and automate all of that, definitely. And when it comes to the IT team, we will be dealing with so many tickets. So let's consider we have some service now tickets which has been created, and all we have to do is just go ahead and resolve that ticket. uh, what exactly the human or the IT person has to do is he has to go ahead and provide some information or the details of those tickets. So let's consider, I don't know where exactly my Outlook execution file is available in my organization. So in these kind of supports, what we can actually do is definitely all these softwares will be there in the in some shared folder. And as soon as they're going to submit the tickets, the bots can be able to go ahead, take those tickets and check what is the type of the request which the employees has been sent. And based on that, if there is already available a ticket, if already the solution is available for that, so bot can respond to their email and close the ticket and then update the status as well as it is required. If the bot is not able to found any of the solution, then bot can just go ahead and assign that ticket to the in person to have a look into it. So that's how we can leverage the RPA bots in an IT sector. And definitely the HR. In the HR, we have seen the onboarding and offboarding. I think onboarding and offboarding is a really very big challenge when it comes to the global level. We have like thousands and lakhs of employees on the daily basis who will be coming in and going out. So based on those requests, so they have to create their profiles in our company. They have to place all their documents in one of the folders and all of these things, and they have to of course validate those documents which they have shared and everything. So to do so, we can definitely leverage an RPA robots in the HR section. In a very similar way, we do have other options or the sectors also, that is the client services, accounting and operations. I think you guys must have already seen about the chat, but also we do have the chat bots where it is going to assess what exactly do you need with respect to the services and all of those things. And we are proud to say that we do have the integration of the chatbots in UiPath itself. So these are the couple of business departments today. We are able to see all the RPA processes which are really up and running in the market. And I think it's been more than like 6 to 7 years where there is we can see the large number of robots into the market. And most of them definitely they can run 24 hours, so they do not need any of the rest. And since we do have the rule based and we did all the validations, definitely the bots cannot do the mistakes the way human does. So that's where we should go and switch to an RPA into your business, and that's going to help you a lot to improve your day by day creative activities and the other stuffs which you really have to focus. And all these repetitives on daily basis will be taken care from the bots. So any questions with respect to the business and the domains or the departments? I'll go for the next one. So introduction to the UiPath. So we have seen now, so what is an RPA? Why should we use an RPA? Where and all we can use an RPA?
Maybe we can have a Menti quiz, Divya, or is it after
Yes.
this?
Sorry, it was here. So can you go ahead?
Diana will share
Sorry.
screen with the Menti in present mode now, and I
Okay,
will give you again the link in the chat. Yes. Okay, and the code once more. Okay, so the code is, I think we already have some people in the quiz room. Okay.
Yeah, so please join.
Okay, you have the code, just copy paste the code from the chat. It's easier if you join from mobile, I think. So just try, and we'll wait until more of you join the quiz room. Diana will be able to see on screen just how many of you are in the quiz room. I see people are still joining. And we'll go through the first two questions of the quiz now, and then I will save the last two questions for the end of the session. So you will only know the winner at the very end of the session. We will have only one winner today. And the prize is a UiPath swag voucher that can be used on our brand store. Okay, I think we're good enough to start. I see nobody else is joining. So we're all fishes, bears, and hamburgers. Oh, yes.
Okay, so you need to answer fast to get more points. Which of the following is an action a software robot cannot mimic?
Okay, think carefully. You have 20 seconds for each question to answer. And be careful because most of the questions today will be exception questions. So there will be something that is not something. Yeah.
Oh, you
Okay.
did good.
It's easy. This one was an obvious answer.
Okay, we have Anuradha in the lead. So let's go to our next question.
Yeah, we have the bear in the lead. Okay.
Which of the following is not a characteristic of a process best suited for RPA?
We have some good comments in the chat about the quiz.
Oh, wow, everybody got that.
That's the best part.
Yep.
That's good. The part that really matters. Okay.
Okay, Irene, you're leading now. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing there and then we'll come back to the quiz, the last two questions at the end of the session.
Thank you very much, Diana. Okay, so Irene is in the lead now in the leaderboard, and we'll see who ends up as the final leader and the winner today. Divya, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed it. So, Christina, let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. So yes, so far I think at least by watching the answers, we were really proud and amazed to understand that you guys have got what exactly the RPA is and what can we automate and all of those things. So now we have seen what is an RPA, why RPA, what are the domains which we can automate, and all of those stuffs. Now, in the market, we do have so many other applications which actually does the RPA job. Now we will see why it is UiPath. What path? Why should we choose a UiPath over all other tools? And what is the advantages we do have, and how easy it is to implement, and other stuff. So maybe you guys would have so many other questions. Why I always have choose for UiPath and why not others? And what exactly the advantages which I get from the UiPath, and all of these questions you guys might have. So here is the slides for, I am to answer all those questions with respect to the UiPath, right? So yes, UiPath is voted as a #1 in G2 for RPA and the low-code category in all 4 regions. Definitely, we are working with respect to the low-code, no-code basis. So that's the reason we were always voted as a #1 in G2 for an RPA. And definitely, can anyone who really do not have a lot of knowledge, where really they cannot sit and write hundreds and thousands lines of code, can they become an RPA developer? Definitely yes. And UiPath is a very best tool and the platform for you to identify and you to become a UiPath developer for sure. And also there is another survey which we have done, and if you can just look at here, UiPath is in the very leaderboard when it comes to the ranking, offering, strategy, and the market presence categories. We do have the wide variety of the products inside of the UiPath, which is specifically aimed for each and every process to be automated, evaluate, to maintain, to deploy, and to run the processes. We do have the products, we do have the strategy, we do have the best way to develop, deploy, and manage. All of them is really in place. And also definitely it's going to be a very easy for anyone or us to go ahead and learn and pick it up, and then to be a master in all these three categories. So that's the reason why we are choosing a UiPath as the best tool when it comes to the RPA market. Right? So UiPath Suites has three main components. Okay, so we have seen the why we have to use UiPath. So to use the UiPath product, or to do any of the process design by using a UiPath, what are all the components we are going to use? So for that, we do have these three main components. That is nothing but the studio, orchestrator, and the robot, which I was just explaining: the development, deployment, and the execution or the maintenance. All these can be happened and managed by using these three components. The development, that is nothing but designing an automation workflow visually with the minimal use of the code. So all the developments, all the designs of our workflows, everything goes into the studio. So once we are done with the development, we can just go ahead and deploy them into the orchestrator. Orchestrator is a web-based application and the studio is a desktop-based application. We do have the web-based studio also, which is going to be released in very soon. We do have the couple of trial versions which are up and running with respect to the web studio, but preferably we are going to use with respect to the Studio X, we will be using the desktop application. So we will be using the desktop Studio X Studio as a desktop application, orchestrator as a web application. It's a web application, and it is a control. It's going to control all our processes, all our robots, all we will be able to monitor and manage those robots. Also, by using an orchestrator, it is really easy for us to go ahead and generate the reports. Also generate the insights when it comes to an ROI. Is my robot is really helping me to get the ROI, and how many robots we were able to run for a day, how many number of robots were successful, how many robots were failure, and how the performance of each and every robots. And you can manage thousands of bots just by using one screen, that is called the orchestrator. And then when it comes to the robot is a executor. Basically, when you just want to run the robot, if you guys are not doing the development, you do have another development team, but that robot, you want to just run it in your machine. Do you really need to install all of these things? Definitely no. What we can just do is we can just go ahead, install only the robot in your machine, so that and also that robot can be triggered by using the orchestrator itself. And by managing the orchestrator, we can run the bot at any point of time and any of the machines if the robot has been connected to that specific orchestrator instance. So these are the main three components which we'll be using in the UiPath Studio. So yeah, this is here we are. What are the citizen developers and what can the citizen developers do? So I think we have, like, this is a very common questions. What is really the difference between the citizen developer and the RPA developer, whom we really call it as a citizen developer? And then what are the prerequisites the citizen developer should have? Can anyone become a citizen developer? The answer is yes. Anyone can become a citizen developer who is really non-technical persons and who learns how to automate and wants to use their skill to create a very simple automation for themselves in their departments in order to make more time for the higher value works. It's very simple. Okay, so I do have one of the very good business SME, and the business SME is getting a lot of emails, and a couple of them is just about the notifications, just the general notification or the broadcast emails, and only a couple of them will be having the actual data to be processed. And my business SME is really not non-technical person, but he or she knows exactly what she wants, what she doesn't want. So if I am the business SME, I do not have the technical background, but I know what I want, what I don't want. Can I become a citizen developer? Definitely yes. The Studio X is especially designed for you guys. where you just have to think logical more than technical. So any person who have the control over the logical control, and also like, okay, I know what exactly the exceptions which I want. I know exactly what is the email which I want to move to the other folder without even reading. I don't even have to worry about it if it contains the broadcast or any such kind of categories. Any such person can become a citizen developer. So what can citizen developers do? So they can definitely learn how to build and run the robots to make their work life better. So I really do not have to sit like half an hour or 1 hour just to see what is the emails, segregate them, and then read them and to respond. So I can just sit and build one robots, and every morning I'll just schedule it. So before I log into my work, it will run and it will keep only the important emails in my mailbox, so that I can save my time when it comes to the cleanup and everything. Automate everyday work they do. So definitely when we do have the repetitive task which we have to do on daily basis. So let's consider I'll be receiving one of the Excel file, and I have to read the content on on the daily basis, and I have to filter the data based on some condition. And whatever the filtered data which I have got, I have to pass it to some other department. So if this is my work on the daily basis which I have to do it, we will be able to go ahead and automate them and learn about the products that improves their automation experience. That is the UiPath Assistant, UiPath StudioX, and the UiPath Automation Hub. These are the other products we do have, and definitely you can just go ahead and explore about these things, which are going to definitely help you to submit your ideas. And once you submit, okay, this is what the process which I'm trying to automate. Is this a right process to automate? Can I evaluate those things by using an UiPath? Definitely yes. And the second thing, so once I have defined, okay, now I know this is the process I wanted to automate, and this is what the idea which I have. Okay, I went and I have submitted that idea in the automation hub. Can I go ahead and check if that process is going to generate any of the ROI to my team? So yes, you can do those kind of evaluation by using the automation hub. So you do have this UiPath StudioX, which we will be taking you guys throughout these sessions, and you will learn more about these things. And also the UiPath Assistant. So what is the UiPath Assistant? How it looks like? Why are we going to use UiPath Assistant? And all these things you will be able to learn it, and you will be able to manage it. And then take part in knowledge sharing sessions and the groundbreaking discussions. Definitely, we would really love to hear your challenges, your day by day use cases, so that we will be here to help you guys to resolve those challenges and help you guys to automate those things and to make your day-to-day life easier, and also to save a lot of time for you guys. So that's all about the citizen developer. What is actually the citizen developer, what you guys can do, and who can become a citizen developer. So let's see the StudioX now, how it actually looks like, and what is the StudioX, how it is the difference between the Studio and the StudioX. So here is the very first view of the StudioX. So as soon as you just installed your StudioX in your machine, as a very fresh, this is how your UiPath StudioX view looks like. And you can just get on a no-code platform to automate their task. Definitely, you really do not have to. I think if all of you guys are working with respect to the IT, you guys might have seen, like, there are a lot of people who will be worried, who will be debugging their code just by missing the braces, just by missing the semicolons. We have spent an hours and days sometimes to debug those things. Do we really have to worry about all of those things? Definitely no. So since we do have a literally no-code platform where you can, if most of the terms and most of the activities in our lame English knowledge, where you can, okay, now I have decided I want to type in this specific screen. So should I remember the name of the actions or the name of the activities to do any such actions? You don't really have to go ahead and remember any of the activities. You decide what you have to do and you go ahead and search for that name, and activity has almost named in very similar wording. So you will be finding those activities, you just drag and drop, and then you just go ahead and configure them. So that's how you can just, that easy it is to do an automation by using a Studio X. Okay, any questions with respect to the why should we use RPA, or what is a citizen developer do, or what is a citizen developer? Okay, so if not, let's see how we can go ahead and install the UI. Yes.
Divya, just one more mention, because I'm going to soon drop off the call. I just wanted to say to everyone that we also created this dedicated forum thread in a women in automation category. So besides the office hours, I'm posting the thread now in the chat. Keep this link for whatever troubles and questions you have. Please ask them in this thread, and the MVPs in the program and all of your peers from the women in automation community will watch this thread and help you to answer those questions. Yes. Please keep this forum thread close, save it, and we will also post it on the event, so you have it on the event link as well. And this will be like your live place to go and ask questions and get support for any troubleshooting you want before the office hours on Friday. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Christina, and have a great rest of the day. Okay, so now we will see how we can go ahead and install the Studio X step by step. So for that, so I'm just going to take you guys the step by step and how can we do it. So let me switch my screen. I'll go back to the Chrome. So here it's a very simple thing. Just open your any of the browser and start typing cloud.uipath.com. And if you already have an account, you can just directly go ahead and log in. And if you do not have the accounts which you have already registered for, instead of sign in, you will get an option for the sign up. You can just go ahead. Since I do have the account, it is already just logged in as soon as I gave the uipath.com. But if you're a new user, you will be having the options here to enter your username and the password. And once you provide your email ID or the username and password, you can create an account. Once you create an account, it is going to ask for a couple of the other details, such as which is your current organization which you're working on, which is the geographical place which you are from, and then maybe your contact details, and along with in which specific region you want to save your data in the database. So once you just provide all of them, you have to create a organization that is like, it is just like one of the organization, nothing but access to that specific tenants where you are going to have all of them. And once you create that organization and click on sign in, you will be landing in this page. And here you will be able to see the download UiPath Studio. You just have to click into this download UiPath Studio, and you will be able to go ahead and you will be having the exe file, which will be able to, you can just go ahead and run the robots. You can just go ahead and run the exe files, and you will be able to install the UiPath Studio by using this exe file. So for now, if you guys just look at this, I do not have the UiPath installed in my machine. So what I will just do is, I do have just downloaded that file. This is the UiPath exe file to be executed. So I'll just double click on that. So you will get this view or this page. So you do have this custom, that is the recommended one for only for the enterprise or advanced users. But since we are targeting with respect to the Studio X, we can just go ahead and have this quick recommended by the community users. We can just select that, and you can see the license and agreements. So once you're done with go through with all of those steps, once you are good, you can accept the terms, and then you can click on install. This is going to take a couple of minutes, so it to install end to end. So let's just wait for a couple of minutes. So since it is, first time it is installing, it is taking some time, and it is calculating all the required stuff which is there, which is prerequisites from the mission. So updating the component registration. So we will be able to see what exactly the stage it is when it is installing. And we will be able to see the progress bar here, which is in the blue color. So meanwhile, it will be keep on installing. If you guys have any questions with respect to that, please go ahead and drop me your questions over here in the chat, and we are happy to answer.
Meanwhile, the installation goes on. Uh, does any one of you have already worked with StudioX earlier, or is this the first time you will be exploring this tool? Let us know in the comment if this is the first time you are trying this tool, or you already have the prior experience with the Studio or the StudioX. Oh, nice. I guess we have so many first timers, so yeah, I
It's
guess
nice.
we
We
have
have
a
a
mix.
combination of both.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah, people have even Studio installed.
So it is adding all the configuration with respect to multiple uh, applications. Yes, I think also you guys, if you guys want, you can just go ahead and parallelly, if it is a very first time you want to install, you can just go ahead and try to install right away in parallel, so that if there is any technical glitch, we can help at the end of this session. Okay, this is going to just close my Chrome browser. That is fine. I have just given OK because it has to enable the UiPath extension in the Chrome. So it just gives you the pop-ups. And then here we are good. So I have clicked on launch the studio. Okay, this is how you will be able to land it with respect to the UiPath Studio X as soon as you are going to install all this. And I think you guys have already have seen we do have the Studio and also the Studio X. If you just want to go ahead and switch between, you really do not have to install two different applications for the Studio and the Studio X. What you all have to do is like you can just go to the settings, you can go to the licenses and the profile, and you can click on the profile, change profile, and you will be able to choose whichever you want to go ahead and continue with. So this is a single platform where you will be able to go ahead and handle with both Studio and the Studio X. So this is what all about how you can just go ahead, install, and this is a very first look of the Studio X. And we do have a couple of the templates which is already ready for you. You just go ahead and use them to automate. Or if you want to create any of the new thing, you can always go ahead, create the new one. And if you already have somebody has been built the project You just have to open that and do a little bit of modification and then run it. You can also do that by using the StudioX. So any questions so far, how to install or any such? Yes, where can we install this? As I said, you can just always go back to your browser. You can try to search for cloud.uipath.com. So cloud.uipath.com. Let me just put that here in the chat. If you do not have any of the account, you can create one and then you can just download that exe file and then install it. And if you have already have an account, you can always just go ahead and then you will be able to go ahead and create an account and then install it, right? And just a quick check, we'll go to the tools and we will see the extension, because when we were installing the UiPath Studio itself, it was asking the Chrome is running, but we want to install the Chrome extension. Should we do it manually or will it be taken care by the bot? Most of the time for the StudioX, it will be taken care of from the robot, I mean from the installation itself. But just to make sure, or just for the double cross verification, if the Chrome has been already installed or not, you can just always go to the tools and then click on the UiPath extension. Here you will be see what is already installed, what is not installed. So here, if you just look at this, we have already installed the Excel add-ins and then Microsoft desktop applications, Firefox, Edge, and Chrome. This is already installed. If you guys want any other applications or any other applications needs to be automated, you can specifically go and install these things. So it is going to support that specific application for the automation. So this is how we can just go ahead and make sure the extensions are working, apps are working fine, and you can start with this. And just a quick intro about this screen is new is going to create a new task or the template. If you want, we can create it everything from the scratch by clicking on the new. And if you already have a project, if you just want to open that, you can use by using an open local project. And this is the panel where we are providing the templates, and you have specific application to be automated. And I really do not want to do it from the scratch. I just want to extract the existing code and I want to do the modification. Can we do that? Yes, we can do that by using a template. So we can just go ahead, whatever you want to do. I want to create a pivot table to an Excel sheet. You just double click on that. We do have a template. You just go ahead and then configure those tables and you will be able to create the pivot table in the Excel sheet. So this is how you can just have the look and feel, and then use the templates and all of these things in the UiPath Studio, right? Okay, so let's go back. So now we have seen how to install the UiPath StudioX and how to add the plugins and everything. So now with UiPath StudioX, what are the main features of the UiPath StudioX? We have seen what and all we can go ahead and do the automation. So why are we going to do that? How it is going to help us? Everything we have seen so far. So now we are going to see what are the main features of StudioX, and these are the main things. Fully functional project templates for the quick starts. So as I have shown in the UiPath screen, we do have the lot of templates. What you all have to do is just select the template and start automating it. Simple scheduling of the runs without reopening the Studio or StudioX by using a UiPath assistant. As I was saying, we can maintain everything by using an orchestrator. Should we really always go to the orchestrator to run the robots? The answer is no. We do have the UiPath assistant. As soon as you install the UiPath Studio as a package, you will also get the UiPath assistant. So here, if you just search for UiPath, you will find the UiPath assistant. And this is how your UiPath assistant actually looks like. You just have to, again, just do the sign in here. And you will be redirecting to this page, and hold this, open this, and this will sign into your account. And do whatever the processes which we have automated so far, once we are able to publish those projects, we will be able to see them under the processes, so that we can just go ahead, just click on this one. It is going to run that specific process. We really do not have to worry about, to pull this, how to pull this, how to run this. Should we always open the studio to run any of the automation? Definitely no. You can just always, if you just want to run any of the automation processes end to end, you can just go ahead, publish them, and once you have published, it will be available under this screen, and you can just always click on just run, and the bot will start running. You really don't have to come back to the UiPath Studio every time. Okay. And yes, navigate native interaction to the Microsoft Office like Outlook 365. Also, the Gmail special and SAP supports all the emails can be automated, and then interaction integrations can be done. Scenarios that shows you the best practices for automating the common actions. So how can we do that? So this is the very easiest feature, and a project notebook that lets you apply your Excel knowledge to the automation. So you do have a very good hold on the Excel. You just want to automate those things, and this is the right place to do that. And also the error handling. So you want to, okay, if there was some error and I want to skip that, if this is the specific error I want to skip, if this is the error I want to retry once more to do that. Or if this is a specific error, I want to stop the bot. All this can be handled by using a UiPath StudioX. So any questions with respect to the UiPath Studio or UiPath StudioX? What are the features, how to install, and what is the very first look and feel of the StudioX? Okay. And let's start with the Menti quiz 2, Diana.
Okay. So I'm going to put the code in the chat again. If anybody else wants to join, please do. I'll wait a little while. Looks like we already have 26 players, so let me give it like 30 more minutes. Still a few people. Or not 30 minutes, 30 seconds. That would be too long. Okay, here we go. So question 3. You need to answer fast to get more points. Which of the following is not one of the 3 core components of the UiPath RPA platform? Is it Process Station, Studio, or Orchestrator? Wow, you guys know your stuff. Good answer. So let's see who's on top of the leaderboard. This can change from question to question, depending on how fast you are. So Irene is still in the lead. Okay, I'm going to go ahead with the last question. Choose the option below that is not a development profile on the Studio desktop application. Ah, that was a little bit trickier. Okay, so we have a different winner. We have Ella Varasi. So Ella Varasi, can you please put your email in the chat to me so I can send you your award, and congratulations. Good job, everybody.
We can take any questions if you have any doubts related to the session today, or you are confused with Studio or the StudioX or the concept of citizen developers. I know this might not be something new for some of you, but I can see there are beginners in the participants today. So even if you have very basic doubts, you can definitely ask. Me and Divyashree should be able to answer. This definitely was just a very basic session to set up everything on your laptop so that you are ready to do more hands-on for the next upcoming sessions. So as you know, we have now the next session, which will be on the user interface automation, and that will be an hands-on experience. We will expect that you have the StudioX installed on your system. And if you have faced any challenges today, and or if you are trying it out later and trying to install after the session, watching the recording, even if you face any challenges, then you can join the office hours. And then again, we will be there to assist you. Again, there is a forum thread which you can put your questions on. So yeah, these are the options, all the options available to you wherever you feel comfortable. If you want to share your screen and do the live troubleshooting, the office hours is what you can definitely opt. But if something that can be easily, you think, solved by the screenshots, go ahead and use the forum, definitely. Again, we are open. Any questions, please feel free. How was the session? How did you like it? Were you already aware of the concepts of the RPA? I know there were a few.
Yeah, and feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like.
Yes, and maybe if you would like to turn on the cameras, it will be good to see the faces that we just now had.
That's a great idea.
in the session. Why not? Let's meet each other. Yeah, I can see a few cameras being turned on.
Okay, I think Nidhi, we have one question. So about the UiPath extension, please tell us more about what can be added and there and how. So to do that, just what you all have to do is like, let me share my screen back. So let me know once you guys are able to see my screen. Okay, so here if you can just go ahead, and as I have showed in the beginning, this will be your landed page. You can just click onto the tools and click onto the UiPath extension. These are all available for the Studio X. But when it comes to the Studio, you will be having more other options. But since we do have providing all the templates and other stuff, so we will be supporting all these extensions here, which are named here. So you can always go ahead and install this or uninstall this. You can plug and play with all these things. It is going to ask this permissions. You can click on S and your extension will be there. I just clicked on cancel since I'm not using the Java base now. So you can always come here and look what is already installed, what you want to install if it is already in the list. If it is uninstalled, you can just install it by just clicking the install button. Hopefully this is clear. So I'll stop sharing my screen.
So if you want other UiPath extensions, there is no possibility of adding more to this unless you're part of Studio.
That's right. For the Studio X, we do have whatever the listed we do have. That is what we are going to support for now. But if you want any of the plugins like Git and other stuff, we do have under the plugins. But the extension for the Studio X is limited for whatever we are able to see it in the list for now.
Okay.
And definitely going forward, if it is necessary and if it is used by the huge number of people, definitely we can introduce that as well as a part of the Studio X itself.
Okay then, thank you very much.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for any additional questions in the chat, there's information about the program overall. You can go there to find out when the next sessions are. So please enroll. I think there's 2 different tracks, one for StudioX, one for Studio. So just link there. And then don't forget to grab the link that Chris put in the chat also on the forum. If you guys have any questions setting up your studio or any issues, make sure that you go there and ask for help. And MVPs will be monitoring that and helping you to get installed. And then lastly, if you're looking for the recordings for the sessions, they won't be available until tomorrow. So you just click on the same link that you used today to enter this session, and you will go to the wrap-up event, which is on the black bar at the top of the page tomorrow. And that will be available, the recording and the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
Okay, I can see a few pretty faces who has turned on the camera. Anyone else who wants to be in the selfie of Women in Automation program?
This is the time to ask your questions, you guys. These guys are the experts.
Yes. Let's wait for another 1 to 2 minutes and see if we have more people on the screen with the cameras on. Then we take a quick picture of our first session.
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for all this training. I think that I need to play a little with this app in order to have a little bit more questions. So far, I think that we're good. Well, I am good, and we'll appreciate all the knowledge that you share with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can completely understand being a completely little theoretical session, then there might be very few questions. So don't worry. You'll have so many later in the sessions, I'm sure. Cool. So
Also, sorry, Nidhi, I'm not sure whether we have explained about the forum and the academy sessions, academic courses. Did we do that?
maybe we can quickly cover it if the links were there in the PPT, but yeah, we can quickly show them.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly show you guys what does the academy.uipath.com looks like. I just go back, share my screen. Okay, so apart from this, the recorded sessions, if you want to learn more about the studio or the StudioX, where you can actually go ahead and have those things. So you have this link over here, you can just go ahead always. Then, where is it? Okay, fine. I'll just copy it as a text for now. So you can just always go back to your any of the browser and search for this academy.uipath.com. As soon as you search for academy.uipath.com, again, it's a single sign-on where if you just create one account in the cloud.uipath.com, you can always use the same credentials for academy.uipath.com as well. So that you will be having all this certifications, everything to be emailed and available for the download, which is going to help you guys to represent yourself as a certified developers. And you can always just, if you really did not get where exactly to get started with StudioX, we do have the specific learning courses you can start with here. And if you really did not get the specific courses, you can just go to the learning plans. And when you click onto the learning plans, you will be having all the sessions, which is categorized by the roles. So here you will be able to see all the categorized by the roles. You can just click on this RPA Citizen Developer Foundation, and here you can just go ahead and start these things. So if you have already enrolled for this, it will be saying this resume learning plan. If it is not, it will be an enroll button. You can click on that enroll button and you will be having an access for all the chapters which is there here. And you can start your first automation, how you can start your process and everything. You can go ahead with the academy.uipath.com. And then, as Diana and Christina were saying, you can just reach out to us at any point of time. But since we do have spread across the world and we do have in a different time zone, if you have any questions and if you have felt you are stuck in any of the doubts, you can always just go to the forum.uipath.com. I think Gokul has already dropped that link in the chat. So you can just come to this forum.uipath.com, and again, you just need to have to sign in here. And here you can just go to the UiPath forum homepage and you can actually create your own questions over here. And if you just look at this, for each and every question, there will be a lot of people who will be answering each and every questions which has been asked. And people around the world, everybody will be connected to this and they will make sure within the couple of minutes. So here, if you just look at this one, the question was posted 6 hours ago and the solution was already pasted 6 hours ago, and we have a lot of conversation which is going on about the questions about, okay, this I have tried, this did not work, how else can I work? So if we have any such kind of things, you will be able to see this kind of responses, where the people around the globe will be start answering your questions. So you really don't have to stuck, and you really don't have to rely on one single person or two individuals to answer your questions. You just go post your questions in your forum, and there are lakhs and crores of the people which are available, ready to help you around the globe. And this is a very right place to find all your questions. And before you create any of the questions, I think most of the questions which will already be saved and already been asked. So you just have to go here for search for that your questions if it is already available. If yes, you can go ahead and pick an answer from that. If not, you can post your new questions. And if you want the documentation, we do have the documentation docs.uipath.com under the StudioX. Here we do have all the release notes and how to get started and all of those things. We do have the tutorials and also with the documentation. This is where you can find all the UiPath resources. To go ahead, access them for free and utilize to learn and boost up your knowledge. So
Thank you for going
that's
through
all.
that. That's great. So I'm not seeing any other questions. What I want to do is thank everybody for coming today. I'm going to stop the recording in a minute, but feel free to stay on for another minute if you want to ask something. And I just like to really thank our speakers today. These guys are experts in their field, and just really appreciate them coming and sharing this with you today.